interested in working in the VLab, want to learn more about it, get some more hands-on experience, then invite them to this meeting, get on our distribution list, and we can, you hear back, or your colleagues every month, because we're really here to, this is really for our users to try to provide an opportunity for questions, to get sort of mini training, to ask questions, etc. And so this meeting is really yours, and where we endeavor to try to tailor it. So any feedback on things you'd like to see or hear, send them to John Chattel or myself, and we can accommodate them on upcoming agenda for future meetings. I just want to mention we saw, I think it was last month, Mike Giebler gave us a demo of the projects repository portlet, and that's going to be rolling out next week in Weather Service and then to a line office near you shortly thereafter. So by the middle of May, every line office in NOAA will have gotten a sort of invitation to come formally and enter in their R&D projects into that database. So it's a big new capability within the VLab that's going to help in a critical way for NOAA in general in documenting the what's going on in the research to application, research to operations area, and help us better demonstrate to Congress the great work we're doing there. So in addition, it's going to be a great resource for the VLab because people can come and query that database and find out who's working on what different projects across the agency, which to me is really exciting. This is really a first time in NOAA that we'll be able to do this in a systematic and robust way, and the VLab is the solution that's been identified for that. So we're really excited about this new capability. Lastly, before I hand it over back to John, I want to remind folks that we really encourage you, whatever you're doing in the VLab, if you get stuck or you have a question, to contact us during business hours, Monday through Friday, using the vlab.admin@noaa.gov email or using the Need Help portlet. Don't be a stranger, don't be shy, don't be bashful, whatever, in terms of getting help, because that's really what we're here for, is to try to help you use the VLab for whatever it is you want to do. So if you get stuck or you don't know how to move forward, contact us and we can help you out either with an in-depth consultation or troubleshooting or whatever it is. So please take advantage of that. It's really there for you as well. So that I'm looking forward to this jam-packed agenda, and going to hear from some of the VLab staff, as well as looking forward very much to hear from John Ice, who's been trying to use the VLab to better support the central region of National Weather Service and their Science Operation Officer community. So thanks, John.
Okay, great. Thanks, Steve. And so I guess now I'll turn it over to Ken Sparrow, who will give us an update on what's been going on within the VLab since we last met a month ago. So Ken, go ahead and take it away.
Great, thanks. So Steve touched on the project repository work. There's been a lot of development effort taking place in that area. In terms of normal support, in terms of new communities and projects, it's been a busy month. Yet again, this month, the communities outpace the projects, which that hasn't been the trend as of late. But there were 6 new communities that were created in the past month. 2 of which were related to NCEP, and another 3rd somewhat related to NCEP, dealing with the national centers, managing code and security reviews within the virtual lab and collaboration services. There was a new community at the DOC level dealing with the national capital strategy. And then within MDL, we created a new private community managing administration of things within the MDL itself, and then another private community within STI for management. So it's been a pretty busy month there. There's also one dealing with OPC, and I had to look that up, and that's a committee for operational processing centers, and that involves NCEP, Talk, NESDIS, AFWA, and FNMOC, and NAVO. So anyway, it's for coordination of cooperative sharing of data, technology, and products among the national major meteorological, oceanographic, and satellite operational centers. So anyway, that's going on, or that took place. In terms of projects, we had 4 new projects this past month. One dealing with graphical turbulence guidance, and they're moving from AWC to WCOS. Another project I briefed last month that there was a next-gen IT web services project that had been created. Well, a sub-project of that called IDP metadata was created within VLab. And then there was another NSEP-related project dealing with IDP and the tsunami and managing, getting all the tsunami code into IDP. And then lastly, there was an AWIPS2 project that was created called Boundary Drawing Tool. And so that's a quick wrap-up of what's been taking place this month.
Okay, great. I think that wasn't so quick. It's actually a quite extensive list of new projects and communities. So I think clearly there's been some growth, and will probably continue to be. I know from user support we've been very active, reaching out and handling issues that people have brought to us. So it has been a busy month. Alrighty, and one of the areas that we're looking at, perhaps as a growth area, is this concept of improved collaboration. And we use, as you may know, a tool called LifeRay to support the VLab. And there is capability within LifeRay that we really haven't exploited within the VLab. And today we're going to look at some of that functionality, courtesy of Mike Giebler. He's going to talk to us about what's called LifeRay Social. Let me turn the make him presenter. Okay, Mike, you're free to share your screen with us. Wonderful. We can see your screen. And we can't hear you yet, though. Hold on a second. That's me. I have to unmute you. Oh, staff? Can you move? Oh, yeah, that's right. Once I make him presenter. He should be, he's unmuted. So, Mike, that's not the problem.
Okay. I think I saw it switch. Okay, great.
Excellent. All right. So take it away.
Okay. All right. So like John said, we're looking into what LifeRay can provide us with for additional collaboration services to help everyone communicate better on different things. And what we're looking at, there are 2 different suites of portlets that LifeRay offers. One's called Social Networking Portlets, and another suite is called Social Office Portlets. And I'll demonstrate some of those for you. Also, along with that concept is LifeRay has some user pages that they provide for you. One set of pages is called basically My Profile, and those are publicly viewable pages, so stuff that you want to share with other users, sharing information about things you're working on through blog posts and things like that. And the second set of pages is called My Dashboard, and those are private pages that only you can view, and that's kind of basically provides you a tool set for this collaboration suite for you. And let me just kind of run through those a little bit. First, on our dev site, we currently have the social networking portlets installed on there, and those can be accessed off of your username at the upper right of the dock bar. The drop-down arrow, you can see that there's a My Profile and a My Dashboard option now. So if you go to the My Profile click on that, and what we're exploring here is this Profile tab, and these are things that would be publicly viewable by any other user in the portal. So first of all, there's just a summary of you. I guess I didn't put a whole lot on myself here. Let me, I think Ken put a little bit more on his. Let me open his up real quick here. And so that's what the summary would be, where you can put things like your job title, a little bit of information about yourself, and so that it's viewable by other people. Also, there's this wall portlet. That's basically where you can add comments about somebody's work or something like that. So that's what this whole portlet is here. This is where you would enter that. Down below, these are things that other people have entered into this wall, into Ken's wall here. These two posts right here. And you're really only allowed to enter comments in here if you've kind of like the Facebook concept of friends. If you're a friend of this person, then you're allowed to enter comments on the wall. If I were to look at John Chattel's here real quick, I don't think I've got him listed as a friend yet. And you can see that here I'm not allowed to enter any information on here yet, but what I can do is I can send a request to him. And so that's send a request to John that I want to be his friend, and then if he agrees to that, this wall will open up where I can post comments to him on that wall. Also on here, you can see who else is friends of John. So it's a lot like a Facebook type concept here. And over on the right here, we have different activities. So these are just activities. The top are John's activities. And then the second one is John's friends' activities. So it'll show not only John's activities, but what Ken's been up to as well. Okay, also there's a bit of a concept of on your account is like other assets in the portal is categorization of things. So you can go into your account, add some categories like I did here, some tags basically what I did here. I'll add another one here. I'm trying to find one that might be a little more unique. Then if you do that, that gets indexed into the global search, and you can find people that might have certain tags associated with their user. So down here in this everything section on the results, there's 2 documents that have that search criteria. I put phishing in there, and 1 user. If I click on that user, it just brings up myself that I just added that tag for. So it's a way of finding people, and depending on either their interests or things they're working on, if they've put tags on corresponding to their user account. The other set of pages for users is this My Dashboard section. And this is not viewable by other users, but this is your place to do things. And some of these social portlets in here would be a place where you can see the list of your friends, and then people that have friended you or you have friended, and you can click on them and find out that information about them. Also from here is you can invite friends. If you can remember their email address. And at this one here, you can add up to 20 at a time, and you can invite those friends. And that works the same as, similar to what we did before when we were on Ken's homepage, or on John's homepage, where I asked him to be a friend of mine. That works the same way as that. And also in here that has a dashboard concept. And here you can see friends' activities, and that has a friends directory here. So that's mostly managing your contacts and things like that is what these portlets are doing. Another set of portlets, we don't have these on the dev box yet, but I've got them loaded on my local machine here, and I can demonstrate some of these for you. Let me zoom in here just a little bit. Yeah, it's not letting me zoom here for some reason. Okay, there we go. And on these, it's the same concept. They have the My Profile and the My Dashboard concept. And in here, what they've done with these new portlets is they've actually enhanced the user account a little bit, where they've actually added another field for a user called projects. And those are set up in your account like we did before on the categorization. And it's just this tab right here under identification. There's a projects, and here you can just add as many projects that you might be associated with here. It's pretty easy to add those. And those all get added then to your profile page. And you can see that one showed up on there as well. So it kind of associates people with different projects, so you can see what everyone's doing. And it has a contacts portlet. Basically, it'll list all your contacts. These new portlets use the contacts terminology instead of friends, which seems a little more appropriate in a business setting. Also, in the new portlets is they have this microblog portlet, and it's basically blogging on a smaller scale, and it's very similar to Twitter, where you can include a hashtag within the text of your blog, and when you do that, it'll show up as a little link in the blog, and then if you click on that, it'll basically reduce that to basically list everything related with it. Any kind of blog that has that same hashtag. So these two had the microblog is the text that I had, and there's the hashtag that I had. So it's very similar to Twitter on that. For your private pages, they have some additional portlets. This is the microblog showing up in your local, in your private page. So and it works the same way as what I just showed you. You just go in here and you click, it says update your status, and you click in there and you type something. And you can put a hashtag in here. And post that. And the hashtag shows up in here where you can click on it. Another thing you can do in here is if you have a contact, you can use the @ sign instead of the hashtag sign, and that'll reference a person. Let me actually show you somebody that I've done that with. Okay, so here's one. If you can see this blog right here that was written in here, the text just says, I'd like to mention Michael Giebler, and what was done was an @ sign was put in right before my name, and then that makes it a hyperlink. If you click on that hyperlink, it'll link you right back to my private home page that we saw before. So that's just some more Twitter functionality there.
Your public homepage, right?
Right. Sorry, you're right. The public homepage. Public user page. Another set of portlets that they have in here is this contact center. And this is kind of like a way to find different people and find out information about them. And then if you click on the results here, you can find that information. Actually, let's look up. Actually, let's look up myself here. And that's another way to find these people. Phone numbers are listed, and also that project concept again. Any projects that person has listed in their account show up here as well. And also from here, you can, if you click on them, you can actually click on this follow button. And then when you do that, what happens is you basically follow them in those microblogs, so that anytime they create an entry into their own microblog, you'll be notified of that. A lot, again, along the lines of a Twitter tweet type of a thing. Another portlet that they have in here is called private messaging, and that's this one here. And these are messages that this user site member has sent me. And how this works is you just can click on new message, and since I'm a colleague of site member here, it shows up in my drop-down list. And you can also attach files to this message. And send that. And then what happens with that is you get that user gets notified. I have one saved up here that I sent earlier. Up here in the notifications, you see this orange number 9 up here. If you click on that, here's one that was sent earlier. The site member sent me a message. And if I click on that, it takes me to that message. And this is another one that was sent with an attachment. And you can see that right here. And click on that, and you can open up that attachment or save it. Also, there's a few other things that can actually be placed on a community site. They have this meetup portlet that shows up here. And this is where you could, if you wanted to arrange for a quick meeting or something like that, kind of works as kind of a calendaring type thing if you want. And another one that was kind of neat is this tasks portlet that shows up here on the top. And here's where you can just create a task list and assign these tasks to different people within the community. And I'll show you how that works. There's a little add task right here. And there's a couple of fields you can add. There's a description. And then an assignee section. And right now I didn't add anybody to this community, so I'm the only one that shows up here. But the members would show up under this members section. And you can set a priority on it and a due date. And you can even add some categorizations and tags on here for search capabilities, and save that. And it shows up in this task list. Shows up as red because I said it was a higher priority. Also, this task list will show up in your dashboard. And so here are my tasks that are assigned to me. And you can see them all right here. One of these didn't show up on the home page because it was created from a different community. So that's why you only saw 2 on the other, but we see 3 here. And these are all the ones that are assigned to me. So, and I think that is all of the portlets that I've really checked out. I don't think they had too many more. So I don't know if anyone had any questions about any of them.
Mike, this is Steve. So, not a question, I guess, but just comments and some maybe feeding discussion. So, one of the things we're looking, we've been looking to improve for quite a while in the general collaboration rubric, you could say, is improved sense of community in the VLab and allowing people to sort of participate in it more actively. So actually in the original VLab vision documents, we had conceived of some sort of database, if you will, where different members of the VLab could sort of publish their expertise, and really talking in this case science and technology expertise, not necessarily fishing or skiing, but and so then other users could come and sort of search if they're looking to try to find somebody who had experience in, you know, SQL or whatever, that this would be a very neat capability, or looking for potential collaborators wanting to work on, say, the forecasting of fog, that would be a useful thing. So that's always been in the vision for the VLab. And what we are looking is to try to pull together some of what Mike's shown today to realize that capability. So you can see there's there's quite a few things that are sort of out of the box, but they're not necessarily tailored in the way we would do optimal for what we want to use it for. But we're going to be trying in the next couple months to roll something out that would at least be a first cut at it. Because we view, I mean, after all, the VLab is only as valuable as the real people participating in it, not the virtual people. And so connecting real experts with other folks through this kind of mechanism is something that we really want to shoot for. So we're hopeful that we can start to put some of that together in addition to other things that you might want, or if you viewed anything that Mike showed during this demo as attractive, or you can send us some feedback and in any shape or form, and we can sort of pursue that. So that was mainly what I wanted to say. So are there other questions, John?
Sure. Mike, Woody Roberts has a question, and he's unmuted. Go ahead, Woody.
The question I had was actually for Ken Spiro on the previous presentation, so I can wait if that's easier.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We'll go ahead and then hold your question till the round table, and you can loop back with Ken on that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Let me. We got one other question that I recall. Let's see. Ken Johnson or whoever's at that line has a question for Mike. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, this is Ken, and I got Brian Moretsky here with me. In the a little bit back there, you showed the capability of entering project information for a particular user, and I was wondering, we had demonstrations on the project portal that had been worked on. Is there any connection between the information between the two? Will there be information sharing between what's entered either in what you showed us today or what's entered into the project portal, that information getting populated into what you showed us?
Ken, let me take the first cut at that. This is Steve. So for the projects repository portlet, initially it will be the information there will be, of course, the project itself and the project owner or the lead or whoever the responsible person is. But it won't necessarily, it's not explicit anyway, include other members of the project. So so it's limited. I mean, whoever enters in that project information into the portlet, they can add additional documents that include the members of the project, but it won't necessarily be there. Whereas the capability that Mike would just demonstrated allows, like any person in the VLab to sort of list what projects they may be a member of, as well as they might be the responsible person. So I guess that's the relationship at the moment, but there's no direct there wouldn't be any direct connection at first between these two capabilities.
All right, thanks.
One more thing. What's the difference between the functionality that Mike showed with kind of the private messaging versus just simply using the chat feature? Like, why would I enter a private message if I could just chat it to somebody?
That's probably a valid question.
How about the?
I don't know. Other than the fact that you can attach files, that might be.
Do chat messages stay around, Mike, or because this obviously looks like something that would be fairly permanent, part of your record, as it were.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that would stay with you until you delete it. And actually, I haven't even experimented with that yet. If you can delete those. But also the other functionality might be if you needed to attach a document, which you really can't do through the chat. But other than that, so and like I said, we're kind of throwing these out here to see which ones are of interest. You could do this with email as well. So
Yeah,
it's a whole matter of,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I think some of these things, the profile, making sure that seeing a record of or a log of what people are doing, that ties into some of the things. But some of the other things, that the calendar or whatever, you got a calendar in Gmail. People are going to use Gmail. They're not going to use the calendar in VLab. So
emails, can you do the attachments?
yeah, you can put attachments on their Gmail calendar,
Right.
stuff like that. So.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, this is Ken. Just to be clear, we're just experimenting at this point and taking a look at what different tools are available through LifeRay, and we could potentially take advantage of. We're not talking about rolling out what you've seen today unless we can build a business case for it and it makes sense. But we're kind of, as Mike said, exploring things with this group. So.
Exactly, and we'd appreciate hearing your thoughts, perhaps in more detail, either through an email to us or later on in the roundtable.
Okay, thanks.
All right, if there are no other questions for Mike, let me go ahead and introduce our next presenter, and that's John Ice from the Central Region. And it's not coincidence that we've asked him to talk about his community today. He was one of the folks who sort of prompted us to begin exploring some of this LifeRay social capabilities. And we've actually briefed him on some of the capabilities. And so we thought we would invite him to talk about the other stuff he's been working on within the Central Region Sioux community today. So hold on a second, John. Let me give you presenter role. Okay, John, you should be the presenter.
You should be able to. Okay, there you go. Do you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you,
Okay,
and we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is John Ice with the Central Region Headquarters Scientific Services Division, and I deal both in the STI PPA and also with my climate work in AFS. But my primary work is as the Deputy Chief of SSD here and working with the Sioux particularly. And so I want to just give you just a little taste of what we're actually doing at the moment. Before I dive into the web page, I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the things that we're working on. I do have a team of 3 other people that are going through, and we're going to be looking at different capabilities. And some of the things we're looking at is to see how well the virtual lab can be used to effectively collaborate both within and without the Sioux communities. Also look at it from a project management and tracking of goals and milestones. Also see where the value added is over to Google products and then the new Cornerstone LMS. Look at roadblocks to adoption by Sioux and our DOEs. The DOEs are basically the science and operation officers that are in the river forecast centers. And also give the Sioux and DOEs a little introductory webinar, get a little bit of a better idea of what's there, and survey them following that to see what their thoughts are, and then look at future development on the virtual lab. And plan on probably completing that up, well, definitely by the end of the fiscal year, but probably this summer is our where we're after. So basically, I wanted to show you a little bit what we've kind of put together so far. And this is just our home page. This is we have our own set of goals that we have assigned to different parts of Central Region, and the map on the right kind of shows you that. And we have what are called Sioux communities, where we have like 5 or 6 offices that are kind of grouped together that work together on these goals. So, this first one here is an iframe, actually of as you probably will look familiar to you, a Google spreadsheet. And then I also, for our calendar, since everybody is using the Google Calendar for just about everything for training in the Weather Service. I also iframed that over. Also, then we have a science sharing area where I put some links to some of the main training information that we have. And also on the left here, also brought in the YouTube channel, or excuse me, the playlist that we have for science sharing. And on the right here is just a listing of all the different webinar files. Sometimes they're, most of the time it's like a PDF or a PowerPoint, and once in a while also we'll upload a MP4 if someone says that they need it. And there may be some other miscellaneous files that come along with that. So this has kind of been our area that we have our videos available, and also the related files that go along with that. And this, except for the YouTube here, which is Google in iframe, the rest of this is Virtual Lab. Also have a news section here. Just wait for it to come up. Okay, there we go. And have a section called Sioux News, and most of this here, most of it is actually emails we send to our Sioux list through Gmail, and then it's rerouted into here. The real issue we've run into that if you have any links in there, they basically get stripped out. But fortunately, attachments do make it over, so that's been a good part. At least that part, we didn't lose files on the way. We also have a list of different forums that we've set up. Now, just to let you know, there's not really much that our SUs are using this for right now, because we've been in pure development for the most part. Though we have shown them what we're doing, but there's they're not active in it right now. So that's why you'll see a lot of zeros and so forth. But you can see 318 mainly emails that we've been sending over the last number of months. You may have also noticed that we have different names here, down in here, and also across the top, and like Central Plains, North Plains, Upper Mississippi Valley, Southeast Great Lakes, and the mountains. And these are all what we call our Sioux communities. Like I was saying, the 5 or 6 offices that work together. And we haven't, I'll just show you, been doing a little work in this area, is how for them to share information. And I put a section up here that puts their goals, also an area up here where whatever they add or make changes to their page, it just shows up in their area. And then there's each office's identifier that's on here, like ICT is Wichita and GLD is Goodland and so forth, and all across here for all of our offices. So, but like I said, we haven't really gotten to the point of sharing any information. Most of what's done is pretty much all done via email on Gmail, and also using the Google chat function as far as back and forth between the SUs. There's a couple other things that I did have up here. These are just pages, and they're pretty much iframes back to different pages within Google itself, because we really didn't want to recreate what we already had created. And most people that we're finding in the other regions too, almost all the regions, that this is what they've been doing their development on. So if they have a page like this one's from Western Region, to keep it up to date, I can't really do a copy and paste all the time to keep that up to date. So this page though is an internal page just for the science and operations officers only, and we do have one that's an external one that is just show you that real quick. It's just kind of a stripped down version of it with just showing a couple of links, the training calendar, and then we have the science sharing options there. So whoever needs to get to the information can. But outside of that, though, we haven't done much work past this, the Sioux pages themselves. But that pretty much shows a little bit of what we've been doing up to this point in time, and I'll be glad to take any questions.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, John. That was very illuminating. Let me check to see if we have anybody with a question for you. Let's see. All right. If you use the raise the hand feature, if you have a question for John. Okay, so Woody Roberts would like to ask you a question. And I have unmuted Woody. Go ahead, Woody.
That was the question from before.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, all right, we know that's for Ken, so we'll hold that for just a bit more. Sorry. All right.
So John, this is Steve Smith. I got a question, a couple. So this is really impressive. So you're clearly using the LifeRay portal as an aggregator, for other information and pages that are already out there, and that's exactly what its strength is. But out of curiosity, is in that use as an aggregator, is it replacing something that you already have that does something similar, or is this what we're seeing here is sort of the first time that this has been attempted in Central Region in terms of putting all this information into one place?
No, we've had it all in one place before, and this is our Google sites right now. So we've had a very wide integration of information. So we were just trying to take some steps into Virtual Lab and see what it could do and what we could pull together. And that's going to be the issue for us, and it's going to be a continual issue for the SUs. No two ways around it, and everybody else that deals in science and at the field level is going to be, unless you're a programmer, you're going to be on Google 95% of the time or more. And that's just a fact. I mean, we're not, until someone says don't use Google anymore. That's what people are comfortable with now, and that's why I'm saying that's why our group is looking at the roadblocks, because it's going to be, I'll be perfectly honest, it's going to be a hard sell to them. It's going to be a hard sell, and I'm just being straight up. And I'm not saying there's things we cannot do with it, like tracking projects and so forth, and that I'm not denying. But in a day in, day out sort of situation, I'm just trying to be very realistic at this point in time. I may be totally wrong, but we're giving it our best go at it and see where it goes from here.
Okay, thanks. That's fine and totally understandable. In terms of the basic operation, I would say the SU community that you have now, it's been operating within the context of a collection of Google sites.
Yes, primarily, and that's where files have been stored and shared and so forth. Okay. And I think that's part of why they're sticking with it, because they can share files very easily that way amongst themselves, and also can edit the files in real time with each other too, and that really fosters collaboration or reviewing files. Being able to edit them and leave comments and so forth. So, like I said, I think there's some strengths that that VLab has, and I know one of the big one has been for tracking of a lot of things for programmers and so forth, and I think it has some strengths if you want to use it to bring a lot of information together. It's like I said, there's challenges here that we're going to have to look at very carefully. So just
okay. Thank you.
All right. Hey, John. Daniel Melendez has a question for you. Go ahead, Dan.
Sure.
Oh, there you go. You're back on.
You hear me?
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. So how do you route the emails into VLab, or are you just manually posting them?
Oh, are you talking about the emails?
Yeah.
Yeah. what they do is we have a SSD service account on Google Mail, and we have things automatically posted to it when we send something to our Sioux mailing list, and then it's picked up by the VLab forum, as it were, if you want to call it, whatever term you want to use, but it pulls it in and saves a copy of it. But like I said, it keeps the attachments, but we lose the links, and that is very problematic at the moment. Like I say, I think it would be a great place to keep a large archive of things and be able to find information. I think that's one of the strengths it definitely has. The question is, I think, more is about the collaboration side is going to be the real trick on this.
I didn't know about that capability. Maybe someone from VLab can.
Yeah, it's been in there, but it's I think it's in the help file actually. If you go to the help manual on there, you should be able to, or the user's guide. There's a section on how to do that. It's not too hard. Actually, I found it very easy to set up, but or I can help. I've got some smart people working on this, so I'm sure they can help you too.
Dan, are you still there with us? There we go.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What I mean, did that answer your question? I mean,
well, I was inquiring about the capability more than anything. Was that?
Oh yeah. The capability of that, of what we were using it for, was just to bounce our mail over there, so we can kind of keep an archive of it. Or if somebody needed to go back and find something, they could.
Thank you.
Right. Well, great, John. I have just a real quick question for you.
Sure.
So you've seen this sort of demo of LifeRay Social a couple times now. Do you think there's any within the Sioux community any sort of processes that it might support?
That's a really when I'm dealing with 40 different voices out there, that's going to be a real tough one to call. When I'm looking at the social office, I've also seen different versions online, on the LifeRay site, and you go, oh, that's a nice design, or well, that looks nice, and then and I know this is all very preliminary what you're showing, but it was I'm not too sure what could or could not be used with it, to be honest. The calendaring, I know that won't happen. The chat, everybody's been using Google Chat, or they're using NWS Chat or something like that. So that's sort of, this would just add one more level onto that, I think, for them. That's my first thought. But I'd have to dig down even more, and I'd have to actually work with it, I think, more than anything to get my hands on it and actually look at what it can and it could and could not do. But like I said, I think it just depends on what we want to do, and I think the best thing we can do probably is play to the strengths of what Virtual Lab is good at, and see what we can continue to build on that, because it's just going to be one of those things where it's not going to be able to displace really the things that Google does already, because people are just locked in. I mean, they're just locked in. But the question is for certain things, though, for projects, we could really use something to track projects, or and I think the idea of assigning tasks and getting and so forth, that part I think would be very handy, and especially if for me it's always I need a task list of what I'm doing, and I can know who needs what from by what time or what date or something like that. And I think that would be very, very handy to be able to track our projects, see what we're working on, see how people are doing. I think that would be the biggest thing right now. I think it was just the project management side of it is something that we're sorely lacking on the. you just don't see it anywhere, with Google at all. So I think that would definitely be an area where, we could use some real help, to say the least.
Okay. Then we have a question from Jeff Logsdon. Are you there, Jeff?
Yeah, not so much a question, just sort of a comment to piggyback off of what John was saying. I think, as we've looked at VLab, it's not so much there exists any deficiencies or things that we need from you. It's more of how we're being told to use it, I guess. There's a lot of potential in this if it was specifically addressed towards certain projects, but rather than, as John has shown you, we pretty much just mirrored our Google site onto VLab because we're being mandated to do so. I think it has tremendous potential in working across regions on projects and collaborating. But rather than going to VLab to satisfy a particular need, like a cross-region collaboration, we're just sort of being demanded to go to this site. So I just want to say, it's, everything you guys are doing is fine. It's just a matter of how we're being told to implement it.
Yeah.
So thanks. Comment on a comment, I guess. So just so you know, we're not asking for you guys to do. We're not directing those directions, but appreciate the honesty and the feedback. So one thing I just want to say is that in our view, there's no question on the table like Google versus VLab. That's just like not even a question because, as we're saying, VLab is an aggregator, so it can take Google in, and people shouldn't be reinventing the wheel. They can repurpose whatever they've done, and that can persist for as long as whatever. So I don't think it's a either-or proposition. So I would hope that nobody is asking you to abandon your Google stuff and switch it all over into VLab. Just you do what makes sense, because it's all a big mashup when you get right down to it. I mean, there's legacy web pages and all that stuff. So it's never completely clean. So the other thing was on I think being creative in terms of finding how solutions that it could offer to things that aren't currently fulfilled, whether it's project management or workflows or tasking, those sorts of things. And of course, the Redmine site, which we're not talking about, the Redmine side of the VLab also has all that project management and code management stuff. So those are certainly things that people can use and exploit to do whatever they want to do. But we really appreciate you taking a good, honest look at things. That's certainly very valuable for us.
Ken Johnson wanted to make a comment, I believe, as well. Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to kind of amplify something that John said regarding project management. As you know, Steve, we've approached you with the Ideas Marketplace idea, and you've been doing a project portal, and this whole, actually John expressed it better than I have, I think, in that this whole idea of project management, tools to do that in other places, Google and so forth, seem to be lacking. If you could muster your resources into looking at that possibility of addressing that, I'll call it a gap, that would be great. I know you've got to explore a little bit in and discover what's in Liferay and that sort of thing. But if you could kind of point your resources towards trying to address that particular area, I think that's where you're going to perhaps gain your following. Because I'm afraid I got to agree with most everything that John has said about what he presented here in terms of trying to migrate users over. We're not going to push them over. They've got to come because they see something of benefit. And so, I would encourage you to try to marshal some resources in the direction that John described.
Okay, great, Ken. Thanks for echoing that, and we'll put some more consideration on how to address that within the context of the regional and SUE sorts of projects, but for lack of a better word, or context. There we go.
All righty. Well, I first want to begin. This is we're moving on now to our Fast Facts segment of the agenda, and I wanted to preface my remarks by giving credit to Anna Rivera. She was incredibly important in coming up with the solution to this question. So wanted to give her kudos for pitching in and helping us out. And she's one of the members of our virtual lab support team as well. So thanks a lot, Anna. I think she's on the line as well. Okay, so we got a question from one of our VLab developers. And they had a fairly simple question to begin with. And that was, you know, can I commit and push code via Jarrett before a VLab integration DR is approved? So now all those VLab AWIPS2 developers out there, raise your hand if you think the answer to this question is yes. All right, now all those who think it's no. All right, great. So now let's see what the answer to this question is. Yes, aha. But if you are a really serious developer, you'll know that there's a but that comes with this yes. And that but is that, yes, you can push the changes to Jarrett and get it reviewed, but you have to make sure that it's not merged into the VLab's remote branch without the O&M Redmine DCS or DR being assigned to an approved release. So that's your fast fact, that yes, you can do it, but you got to make sure that the integrator is involved and that they're taking care of the DR side of it. And for more information on this, you'll want to go to the AWIPS2 build project wiki. And so we can take a quick look at what's available. This is through the Redmine, and you can see that we're at the AWIPS2 project. And the wiki tab provides you a host of information about how basically to use Jarrett to submit submit code for the AWIPS development process. And then, oops, what am I doing? All right, and then let's see. Okay. And there's another page which I'll show you just to familiarize yourself. Same wiki. This is all about Jarrett. So if you think of Jarrett as a bit of a black box, you can learn more about what it is used for and how it interfaces with the development process, and some very useful information on how to actually use it to get your job done. And as you notice, there's a fair amount of information there. So I created, again, with a lot of help. In fact, it's basically plagiarizing the information that Anna provided us. A synopsis, and we'll just quickly go through that synopsis. So basically, you're a developer, you've got your changes ready, and so the first step is basically to commit them using Git, and you can see an example of the Git command here, and you'll want to pay particular attention to the note that says this is very case sensitive and format specific. So you'll want to use uppercase where there's uppercase and symbols where there's symbols. And so you'll commit these changes. This is sort of on the local side of things. And then you'll push those changes to basically the appropriate repo. And so here you can see examples which may or may not be applicable to your development project. But there's an AWIPS baseline repo, and then there's AWIPS2 incept repos, and AWIPS2 GSD repos. So depending on your particular project, this particular value would, of course, change. And then the third step is your change undergoes a review, and ultimately all the reviewers will approve it through a +1 vote. And then after that review process takes place, this is where the integrator comes in, gives it a final vote of +2, and then that will only take place once the O&M, Redmine DS or DCS and DR is at this assigned or dev status and assigned to the approved release. So this is where there may be some delay as the DR gets set up. Ultimately, though, you create a packing list and you send that to this cool AWIPS development email address, and then the Redmine ticket gets updated and moved from accepted to work to ready for test, and then the O&M Redmine DCSDR is updated to build, and away your changes go and find their way into the AWIPS 2 baseline. So that's the long version. That's the long version of our FastFact. And if you have information, or if you have any questions about the process, you can certainly talk to Anna or me or perhaps Ken as well. All righty. So let's see. Are there any questions about our FastFact today? Okay. So no questions about the FastFact. So we'll move on to our roundtable, and this. I'm sorry. Start with yes, that will. This is the segment where we get to hear from you about things on your mind regarding the VLab, perhaps things during the presentation that you want to provide us some feedback on, or generally just some ideas on what you're thinking or doing with the VLab. So let's begin by opening up Woody's mic, and go ahead, Woody. You had a question, I believe, for Ken.
Yes, this has to do with the Redmine. We have a new project this fiscal year that we were asked to move over our development to the AWIPS 2 GSD branch. So we've put some activities on there, mainly bug fixes, but our challenge is that we have a fair amount of our FDSE management tracking on a different project for FY15. And I was wondering, is there a way to merge that kind of information, because they all have different issue numbers and such, and we didn't know if it was better just to kind of live with that through FY15 with the two different projects, or was there an efficient way to kind of merge those?
So is the other project, is it within VirtualLab already?
Yeah, it had been there for a while. The FDSE, we've been using that for a couple of years now.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you can reference those tickets because they would be, links and things like that are going to be transparent because it's still within the VirtualLab on Redmine's side. So that wouldn't be an issue. I guess, the question is, so the code base is what I'm hearing is now you're being asked to do it within the AWIPS 2 GSD repository as opposed to this other repository that you have. Yeah, we can take it offline and try to come up with a best solution for you. So
okay. We don't really have code tracking with the old one. It was more of a management, but it seemed like for the tracking, they wanted to have both in the same place. But
sure.
Again, we can live through it through FY15, but if there's a way to merge it, that'd be great.
Yeah, the issues can definitely be, I do that occasionally where, I'll create an issue within the wrong project and you can change it within the issue itself. So we'll just need to understand how many issues need to be moved across. And if it's a manageable number, we can probably just do it manually, and it can actually be done right through the interface itself.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. We're going to go down the list of attendees and give everybody a chance to contribute to the meeting. So we'll begin with Anna Rivera. And Anna, do you have anything for the group you'd like to share?
No, I'm all good.
All right. Thanks for attending.
Sure.
All right. Adam Schnapp. Are you with us, Adam?
Sorry there, I was on mute. Nothing to share. Really enjoyed this meeting. I think you guys are going in a good direction, and I'm here at MDL, but I have friends at weather offices, and I also believe that the way to go is to play to the strengths of the VLab and not try to make it a solution for everything. Thank you.
Sure. And you know, if you get a second, we'd be happy to hear what you think the strengths are. So send us an email.
Okay, for sure.
All right. All right. Bradley Mabey is next up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. It's Mabe, by the way.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of fun with VLab. Don't know what I'm doing yet, but I got a bunch of projects, and yeah, keep up the good work. I enjoy these things. I'm learning a lot of stuff.
All right. Thank you very much. Brian Mata.
Yeah, hi there. I have a very specific interest and problem that I'm trying to solve. It relates to training and blogging. And so in the Lightning community, we're looking to start an operationally oriented and focused blog, but be able to have non-NOAA people and you know, a variety of users be able to post to the blog, be able to review entries to the blog, that sort of thing. So I'm interested in more information about what the blogging capabilities are of the LifeRay package there.
So Ken, I mean, given the current state of the way we do business, he can create a blog that would be public facing, right?
Sure. Yeah. The only thing that there may be an issue with is I heard giving other users that aren't necessarily members of the virtual lab or non-NOAA users, permission to post blogs. If you've got a relationship and they can be classified as external partners, there are other government agencies or university partners and things like that, then you can make a request to have them added, and then they can join your community, and they would be able to blog through that mechanism. But if you're really wanting anonymous people to blog, we'd have to look at that and see if that might be possible. I guess I need to understand your requirements a little bit more, but we can definitely, you might want to schedule a consultation with us, and we can work through and explore it together.
Okay, that sounds good, Ken. Thanks.
Sure.
All righty. Let's see. Chad Gravella, are you there?
Yeah, Chad Gravel. I don't have anything right now, but I appreciate letting the Operations Proving Ground be on this call.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for attending. Let's see. Jim Ledoux, I've unmuted you. Are you there, Jim? All righty. Kate Howard, do you have anything for the group?
Nothing today, thank you.
All right. And let's see, that brings us around to Ken Johnson and others.
We're all set, thanks.
All righty. And let's see, Kim Runk, do you have anything for the group you'd like to share?
In a candidate for this position.
I'm sorry?
And I guess.
And of course, thank them. Is it good to come into it and thank them for the interview at the beginning?
Okay, I think Kim is carrying on a conversation at the other end. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next person. Laura, do you have anything you'd like to share with the group today?
I appreciate the fast facts, the tips provided by Anna for the AWIPS commit and DRs and DCS numbers associated. Is that information available? Your easily available on the wiki page for the AWIPS2 development?
I believe it.
Or where can I get a copy of the long answer for the fast facts?
Right, I will certainly share that with you, and we'll post it to the VLab focal point community.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to look at Laura because I think we're getting some feedback. All righty. Sean Hooper, are you there, and would you like to share something with us? Sean Hooper, okay. I'll assume you don't have a mic, which is always a possibility. And let's see, I think Ting doesn't have a mic either, but let me check. Are you there, Ting? Yep, I think he's saying, or she is saying that no mic. So, okay. Tom Filiaggi, do you have anything you'd like to share with the roundtable?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Very quickly, this is actually for you though, John. If you could send me the slider information that was in regards to the AWIPS code check-in process. I'd like to read that through, and I might want to see how it exists in our guidance, and I might want to adjust our guidance to make sure that we have a source of information that's accurate. Because I think the way it was presented in your slide was better than from what I've seen elsewhere. So there might be a way to improve what's already out there.
Okay, all right. I'll definitely share it with you for sure.
Thank you.
And that brings us to Woody. Do you have anything to share with us at this last point?
Nothing more, thank you.
All righty.
This is Steve Smith. I want to also, I forgot to mention at the beginning that we're about to solicit membership for our VLab improvement team. So this is going to be sort of a recommendation body that's going to operate and help us prioritize the things we need to work on first in VLab. And so we're going to be getting members from all our stakeholders in Weather Service as well as in the other NOAA line offices. So we're also quite excited about that and looking forward to having a standing body to help us, stay on the true path. So that's just another thing I wanted to mention, what's coming up in the coming weeks.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we'll wrap things up here with a quick poll question, our final one of the day. And this is a chance for you to let us know how successful we were today. So did this meeting meet your need, and would you invite a friend next time? And for those who say yes, we're glad, we're happy about that. For those who say no, please send us an email letting us know what it is that you would like to see that would make it more beneficial to you. And for those not sure, please come back next week or next time, and next month that is, and give it another go. All right, so I'll leave this open for about 30 seconds, but I thank everyone for attending, and our next meeting will be May 27th, again 3 to 4:30 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And so thanks for everyone for attending. Have a good day.